Hi, I'm Nikki Lovegrove from Tree of Opals and Keepsake Supplies. Today I'm showing you how to make these lock of hair memorial cufflinks and matching keyring from scratch, including soldering the cufflinks. You can skip making the cufflinks and buy them from me ready assembled, but I hope you still enjoy watching me make them. We're using two cufflink findings here with two 12mm round bezel cups. Add some flux liquid to protect the silver from fire scale. Please let me know if you'd like a tutorial on how I make and use my own. Use the torch or a lighter to burn off the alcohol so you're left with the coating of boric acid on the silver to protect it from fire scale. The trick is getting the pieces perfectly level, then put the finding aside and add some medium solder paste. Put the finding back on without adjusting the height and make sure it's perfectly centered. Heat the cufflink from the top, working towards the join until the silver becomes red but not orange and the solder melts. When it's cooled a bit, use the soldering pick to put it in the cold water to quench it, then put it into the pickle for a few minutes to remove any copper from the surface. In my last tutorial, soldering a teardrop ring, I go into more detail and use the same method. I use citric acid in a small slow cooker, and let me know in the comments if you need a bit more advice or would like a video with different inexpensive methods you could use to get started. Once the colour is a nice silvery white, rinse the settings and dry them off. Use an ultra-fine sanding pad to level off the bezel cup, because sometimes they're a little uneven. I like to finish them in my magnetic tumble polisher, which gives me this beautiful sustainable satin finish. Thank you to my client for her permission to film this anonymously. She posted in this beautiful lock of hair with the sending kit we shipped her. To make a lock of hair stone, put a small amount of the hair on some clear resin on a piece of label backing paper. Don't use it all up no matter how much the client sent you. That's very important in case you make a mistake. Today I'm going to make 4 stones, then send the client a proof photo so she can choose her favourite. Add resin all along the hair, then use a cocktail stick to soak the hair in the resin and remove air bubbles. I like to wait a little while with the hair to allow the air bubbles to rise, then gently push them out. Cut the hair to lengths a little longer than the mould, so they can curve around, then carefully transfer the hair into the moulds. Check from the back and you can see where any bubbles are hiding and nudge them back out. Once you're happy with the hair placement, cure for 99 seconds on a low heat setting. I use a Sun 3 UV lamp. Once they're cured, add a little clear resin to the mould so that the whole of the top layer is coated, but not too much or you won't have room to add colour. I've used Basilisk Green Resin Sparkle Mix pre-mixed with resin, which comes in opaque black pots. Mix the pigment into some clear resin behind the hair in a swirl, then cure again. Repeat, using slightly more pigment in each layer until it's almost full. The last layer should be clear, as it's easier to sand flat that way. Don't use too much pigment or you'll find the layers won't cure properly. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to my channel or following me. Wait until the stones are completely cool, then remove them from the mould and give them a good check. Number the stones on the back and put them on something you can photograph for your client. Send your client a proof photo to see which one they prefer. I took one in the studio and one in natural light. Always let your clients know that the best stones will be returned to them along with the leftover hair, free of charge. My client chose stones 1 and 2 and I'm making her a little gift with stone 3 to show you why I don't usually use stones in this kind of setting. Take the chosen stone and trim the edges and file the excess. Check it in the bezel setting and, if necessary, use some coarse sandpaper to level out the back. If the stone is too tall, sand it down. I'm gluing this stone into the setting to show you why I don't normally advise this. If you need to use this method, make sure you score the setting with a file. Add some glue or clear resin, then add the stone. You can see the resin has seeped up the edge and made air bubbles, which can be tricky to remove. I do my best, but you can still see them on the finished piece. Cure and pack away any spare stones to return to the client. To set the cufflinks, remove any excess resin from the edges of the stones and file the edges neatly, then sand the backs level. Place one of the cufflinks in a wooden ring clamp and secure, then check the stone inside the setting. I find these more tricky to set than rings. Use a curved burnisher to press the edges at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, then the corners, then smooth down any ridges. I use the back of the burnisher towards the end for a better seal. You want the stone to be well secured and not be able to move. Repeat the process with the other cufflink and you have a pair. Give them a final polish with the silver polishing cloth and photograph. To add a large split ring to the pendant to make a key ring, use your fingernail or tweezers to open it and slide the loop on. Don't forget, I've linked to all the supplies I'm using in the video description, and there's a link in my bio, or you can just go to keepsakersupplies.com. I'm so grateful for my client's permission to film this Tree of Opals order being made. When you buy memorial jewellery or the supplies to make it yourself from me, you're supporting a single mum. I work really hard to make my websites professional, but I work part-time with one part-time employee, so you really are supporting a small business. If you'd like to purchase these cufflinks ready-made, ready to add your own hair or your loved one's ashes, I also sell them here on keepsakersupplies.com. I have listings for wholesale quantities if you have a successful keepsake business and would like to order a batch. Thanks for watching. Now relax and do some crafting.